Coquitlam is a city culturally quite diverse, particularly in the last couple of years, or I would say the last decade or so. 40 to 50% of the population in Coquitlam are ethnic minorities. Yeah, it's a booming city. We started in responding to the migration of people, actually, even within our church. We've been seeing people moving to Maple Ridge, eastward of Coquitlam. About 2 years ago, the Canadian government given the Hong Kong people so-called Hong Kong pathway. As long as you have a Hong Kong identity, they can come to live in Canada, and then afterwards they can apply for permanent residence. And this Hong Kong pathway is so strategic in terms of, attracting all these Hong Kong Cantonese-speaking people.
In the last few years, we experienced the influx of the Hong Kong immigrants. So probably we should have some solution to resolving all these different good problems because getting more people coming to the church.
Our church been receiving more than 500 newcomers from Hong Kong. So you can imagine just one local church like us. So that's why we are seeing the need of planting a church, a congregation that reach out to the Cantonese-speaking people here.
So right after the Thanksgiving in 2021, a group of about 20 brothers and sisters, we start praying online with Zoom. I think that's the beginning of the new church planting projects, yeah. For the first few months, nothing happens.
I've been praying for some time about our church actually having more inroads into our community. We are mostly white, Caucasian, middle class kind of a church, but we have so much going on around us that we are just not connected to. And there's no way we could have reached our Cantonese neighbors on our own. We just had no possibility of that happening.
We form a Cantonese Bible study group. One of the mother living in Maple Ridge joined us. We shared the gospel to her, and she received Christ as her personal savior. So it's a good sign to our prayer groups, and that some sort of confirmation that that probably that's the right way. We continue to pray and see how God works.
Even though Coquitlam and Maple Ridge is not that far away, we are talking about only less than half hour's drive away.
The first thing in my mind is to work with a local church, a church within our Alliance family.
The first meeting was the senior pastor here, Tom Blackaby. So we met in his office. He's so welcoming.
He's a very nice guy, easy to work with.
And we started to pray about it. And the next meeting, actually, he organized was to meet with his elders.
My connection with this was entirely at the invitation of Pastor Paul and Pastor Tom. The churches began to work together, and then through that, I was invited in to help, build out the partnership, to build out the agreement.
I was very excited because I know the history of this church is that they have not ever had a church plant or hosted even another congregation. I saw it as a part of God's activity that we should really join Him and just open the doors.
Last summer, we started a trial run of our congregation. We started a worship, Cantonese worship. And then in September last year, 2022, we launched the first official Cantonese worship in this Alliance Church here.
At Easter time this last year, had both congregations come, had a translator to translate the message. Wai Feng spoke the scriptures for us. We had our worship songs in both Cantonese and English, and their congregation blew our congregation away by the power and the spirit in which they sang. After the service, some of the older people and younger people in my congregation, they were in tears because they felt probably for the first time in many, many years the Spirit of God with the multicultural congregations together, worshiping the Lord together. And some people said, this is what heaven has to be like.
The intercultural component of a church is probably very much the future of the Chinese or ethnic churches in Canada. Together, We are not building Chinese church. We are not building white church. We are not building black churches. We are building God's churches together.
I think that this is the future of the church in Canada. There's incredible openness to the gospel in new Canadians.
Those new immigrants, newcomers, they may face a lot of difficulties, challenges. Our Lord is one of the greatest helpers. And this is also a good news to them that if you know our God, our Christ, you will be part of our families facing the challenges and problems altogether.